All right, and we're live. So yesterday, a shock. The markets finished lower, and I mean, at some point, they were, dropping like a rock. We'll take a look at this, and then it is earnings season. So today, we have earnings from what IBM, from Southwest, from UPS, and then of course the big one, Tesla, reporting after the bell and skyrocketing and kind of saving the market. But will this be enough? Can Tesla save the day and have a today have a to turn around Thursday? That's what I want to say. Anyhow, so as you can see, we have a lot to talk about. And with that said, welcome to Coffee with Markus and Mark. And today is Thursday, October 24th. And in this show, we are going to talk to you about what's happening in the markets and how we are trading it. Geez, Mark, I'll let you take over. I don't know what's going on this morning. I need to take the blanket out of my mouth, it seems.
One of those days, Marcus.
One
Too
of these
much to
days.
talk about and too excited and ready to go. Gosh, S&P finishing lower for the third day in a row, so back to back to back losses, and wondering if earnings today could save this, index from a 4 day losing streak. And so far, it's positive, but it does look like we're starting to fill that gap a little bit. You have the 5 minute chart up of the S&P and a pretty decent slide yesterday, although we came off of session lows late in the session.
Yeah, overall yesterday, at some point the S&P was down 1.5%. At some point, the Nasdaq, I believe, was down 2%, finishing lower. And then today, a possible bounce back. And all of this is due to one company, Tesla. Tesla reporting
Tesla,
earnings,
Tesla,
and Tesla, the first of the Magnificent Seven, reporting earnings yesterday. And as we can see, traders were kind of nervous going into earnings. This was the Robotaxi event, reveal event. And after this, sliding lower. But then yesterday, Elon Musk being Elon Musk again.
yeah, to be honest, I don't think that the earnings report could have been much better. Maybe an earnings beat on revenue, because they had a huge beat on earnings per share, slightly worse on revenue than expected. But it's this guidance here, and we'll see if Elon Musk ends up being right or not. But he said that he expects vehicle growth to be 20 to 30% next year. And this is a lot better than what analysts were thinking.
Yeah, and analysts were thinking that it's around 15%. And he also said, well, it's for two reasons. First of all, lower cost vehicles and the advent of autonomy. And this is where he said, you know what? Right now, we already producing 35,000 autonomous vehicles per week. And this is where traders and investors thought, oh, really? We kind of didn't know that.
Yeah, and look at this. It said the company will produce 2 million cybercabs a year eventually, and offering driverless ride hailing cars as early as 2025 in Texas and potentially California. So, this is where the cyber taxi reveal was a bit of a dud. And of course, there's still some regulatory hurdles to overcome there. And I think that's what investors were really hoping for with that event. But all in all, it just seems like that, this is what investors wanted to hear today or yesterday with that earnings report.
Yeah, and then the next is the Cybertruck. Gains traction. Look at this. The Cybertruck became the third best-selling fully electric vehicle in the US, behind only the Model 3 and Model Y. So this is where they sold more than 16,000 Cybertrucks, and they said that they achieved a positive gross margin. And that's pretty good for the Cybertruck, because recently we've heard that there's a lot of problems connected to the Cybertruck, a lot of recalls. So this were traders and investors were thinking, okay, maybe the Cybertruck wasn't a good idea, that the Cybertruck is a money pit. But then they say, no, actually, it's profitable and it's wildly popular.
Yeah, seeing more and more on the road, and for it to be profitable, that's a big win, like you said, Marcus. So, I mean, gosh, I don't think it could have been much better for Tesla.
It could not be. And I mean, this is what we see in the stock price. If you go to a 5 minute chart, we see open massively higher and still trading at session highs. Right now, trading at $250, which is up 17% from yesterday. So Elon Musk's excitement seems to be contagious. I mean, this is where, yeah, traders are loving what they heard yesterday.
So far, so good.
On the other hand, we also had IBM reporting earnings, and IBM traders did not like what they heard during this earnings. IBM down 6.5%, which is quite a lot for a company like IBM.
Yeah, bigger drop there for IBM after a pretty impressive rally since last earnings. They had an earnings beat, but they missed on revenue. Investors not liking that. IBM on its worst day since April, it looks like, and yeah, having a rough day.
Yeah, but IBM coming back from the dead, because IBM has been diddling around between 100 and 160 for the longest time. Finally, in 2023, the first attempt to break out, and then 2024 has been extremely good for IBM. I mean, year to date, IBM is up 33%, which is kind of impressive for a company like IBM, because you don't
Oh,
hear a
sure.
lot of them, but it seems that they are participating somewhat in the AI boom.
Yep.
All right, and then Boeing. I mean, Boeing having a rough day again after the machinists reject the new labor contract and extending the strike again, and therefore Boeing down another 1.5%.
Yeah, and I mean this just gets trickier and trickier, lasting longer. That has hurt the production when Boeing's already burning through cash. So investors not liking that news.
Yeah. And then we have UPS. UPS reporting earnings. And UPS recently, just 2 days ago, got a downgrade from Barclays. And so Barclays downgraded UPS. And on this downgrade, UPS was actually moving lower by 4.5%. But then they reported earnings and basically showing Barkley the middle finger and say, screw you, look at this. We are doing just fine.
Green, green, right? Nice earnings beat, better revenue. They said that they expect full year sales to be 91.1 billion, I think, which came in a little better too. So not too bad.
Yeah, so the guidance was better, the results were better, and this were UPS earlier today jumping up 10%. And then investors probably thought, it's a little bit an overreaction, but still up 6% for the day. And since we do have a position in UPS, we'll take it.
Yeah, loving the gap, Phil.
Talking about our positions, I mean, we have some action going on here because, first of all, we did have an exit today. This was a super easy 1 day trade that occurred on Verizon, VZ.
Yeah, and it was a nice win. Gap down a little bit this morning, but we know that our rules are to close it when there is an exit signal at the open. And in this case, that worked out nicely because after the open, it continued to slide.
Yeah, so went long yesterday morning at 41.86, closed this morning for 42.38. So this was a nice and quick, easy 1 day trade. And yeah, today they got a downgrade from an analyst. This is why probably today they're down 2.6%. But we exited according to our rules, and it is working out great. Now we also have a few open trades. First up, ABBV, and ABBV just doing its thing, and we went long at what was it, 168.32. Right now trading at 189. So that's another good trade, exactly doing what it's supposed to do. The WTF trade, win the fear. We bought it on the retracement, and right now it is bouncing straight back.
Yeah, looking good, looking good. I mean, we had a nice one-day pop, pulled back a little bit yesterday. It was interesting to see what was going to happen today, but right now, at highs since our entry, and I'll take that.
Yeah. GE Aerospace also had first a good day yesterday, then pulled back a little bit. But overall, still liking this. We went long at 179.70, right now trading at 181, so above our entry price. So this is looking good. We'll see if we are able to fill the gap here, and if GE Aerospace can push higher.
That's the goal.
And then, of course, there's Tesla.
Tesla.
Tesla! We entered at 220.13, and right now Tesla is trading at 251.32. So, I mean, this will be an exit tomorrow, and I'll take it. I mean, this will be a nice $30 per share. So we'll see where this ends up. But this is kind of the trade of the quarter, I want to say.
Yeah, looking nice here. I mean, a huge gap up and continuing to rally. This is where, with the strategy, we're looking at exit rules, but today we did something a little bit different.
Yeah, today, I mean, when the market puts a large bag of money in front of you and say, want it? You don't say, nah. So we decided this morning to close half of our position at the open, which was already a good trade because we opened at 244.68 and then closing the other half of our position according to the rules, which will be most probably tomorrow that we'll get an exit signal. And looking good. I'm liking it.
Yeah, yeah. So taking a little profit off the table there and letting the other half go. So now looking for an exit, but so far so good.
All right. Hopping over to the wheel and our trades there. First up, AMAT, Applied Materials. That is a trade that you took. You sold the 175, I believe, put, expiring on Friday. Have you been able to close this trade yet?
No, I got close this morning on that gap higher. Lamb Research, they reported and highly correlated to AMAT. And so there was that nice pop on Lamb Research's rally, and it got close. I have the order in to close at 90%. But on this pullback, it lost some of that early momentum. And looks like I'll probably go into tomorrow either letting it expire worthless or getting assigned, although assignment at 175 is unlikely based on what we see now.
Yeah, especially since, I mean, there's no technology companies reporting earnings today, right?
Yeah, so it looks like it will most likely expire worthless.
Yeah. BP, BP, again, all over the place. Today, slightly down after gapping higher and, I mean, just hanging in here for now.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this one it's just kind of stuck. It's all right. I mean, it's in a safe range here, but would really like to see this take off. And of course, we need to see crude oil to really make a move to get this going.
Yeah, same here with Halliburton. So Halliburton today also down half a percentage point. Right now trading at 27, 68, 69. So, I mean, a good opportunity if you are not yet in HAL in Halliburton. I mean, a good opportunity to sell the 27 calls and probably take advantage of this lower range here.
Yep.
And then CSIQ is still trying to figure out what to do. I mean, right now consolidating at around the 12 level. Today trading as high as 12.55. Right now pulling back a little bit at 12.25. Still up 2.4% for the day. Nothing for us to do just yet.
Gosh, all over the place. This one's just it's been crazy. Now we just need some more upside momentum. It has that path. It has that move up towards 1950. The path has been paved. Let's go, CSIQ.
Let's do this. All right, next up, calls and calls today pulling back, and I was able to close my calls that I sold earlier, and so now, yeah, I'm kind of in the shares again, assigned at 2150. I haven't updated my trading log just yet after they closed, so probably going down towards 1940, 1939. I would say will be my new break even, and I mean this is just beautifully trading in a range here. So I'll just
Yeah,
all right, and
that's
then there's
good.
Merck. Merck doing its thing, and Merck right now pushing lower again. I mean, come on, Merck. I mean, does anybody stop taking their medications or what's happening here, right? I mean, super solid company, but right now, today, still down another 0.6%, trading at 105 right now. Nothing for us to do.
Nothing for you to do.
Nothing for me to do. You're not in this one. And then there's UPS. And I mean, UPS, this is where we need to zoom out a little bit on the chart. I mean, definitely here having a nice move this morning, opening higher at 145. And that was the high of the day. The low of the day, however, was 136. So right now trading at around 140. So UPS, come on. I mean, at this point, UPS did fill this gap, and now it just needs to close between 146 and 148 again.
Yeah, and I mean, I really, really can't complain here because it's up nicely after earnings, and it could have been worse. But gosh, can we hang on to those early gains? I mean, it was a perfect gap fill, and take off to the upside, you knucklehead.
Yeah, right. I mean, we can expect though that we probably, if you look at the averages, stay around the 5% here. However, I
True.
mean, at some point, as we can see, UPS on 7 days after earnings took off and was up 11%. So that's what we want to see. I mean, just keep moving higher here. But yeah, I mean, I think really, really good news from UPS of proving Barclays wrong and say, no, we are doing really, really good.
Yeah, I love that. Have to say.
Yeah. All right. So we'll take another look at the 5 minute chart of the S&P here in a moment and see can the indices be higher today and will Tesla save the day? But before we do this, let's talk about our dad jokes. What do you have for us today?
Well, Marcus, to celebrate the fall, I think we need to stay with a fall theme. What do you get when you drop a pumpkin? Squash.
I like it. All right. I have an easy one for you. What cat should you never trust?
What?
A cheetah.
Ah, a cheetah.
Ah! All right,
Classic.
let's see.
Classic.
So as we can see, the S&P 500 on a 5 minute chart, we are still slightly lower where we opened, but we are up for a day. 0.25%. The Nasdaq right now leading the charge, mainly fueled by Tesla, trading around session highs, up 0.6%. The Dow being dragged down by Boeing and Honeywell, and this is where the Dow right now down 0.3%. And we see that the Russell also hanging in there, but pulling back a little bit from session highs, still up 0.3%. The VIX a little bit all over the place this morning, the volatility index. And at first we were pushing higher, now still down, attacking the 20 level again, trading right now at 1914, being as high as 1947 today already.
Yeah, and well, the day's not over yet. Do you think that the S&P is going to finish the session positive, or do you think it's going to be a fourth straight loss for the
No,
S&P?
I think we will snap a winning streak today. I mean, today was just a good excuse for traders to be optimistic again about after we had a few companies saying, "Hey, it's not looking too bad." I mean, UPS. That's kind of good news, right? I mean, if UPS keeps shipping, that tells you something about the economy. And then, of course, Tesla with the blockbuster earnings here. I believe that we will remain positive, that we'll snap a losing streak. And I mean, if you look at the earnings calendar for today, scheduled after the bell, not a whole lot going on. We have Capital One financing, but I mean, this is where I think that right now everybody is waiting for next week, because next week, this is when the Magnificent Seven continue reporting earnings, with Google on Tuesday after the bell. Then we have Microsoft, we have Meta, we have Apple, we have Amazon. So we have five more reporting earnings next week. And Tesla has basically shown them the way. And now everybody wants to see, okay, can these other Magnificent Seven do the same? What are your thoughts?
I think we're gonna finish negative. Not by
Really?
much. I don't think there's gonna be a big slide, but I think we're just gonna kind of pull back into the close, and we'll have 4 consecutive losing days.
Wow. Okay. A cookie bet it is. So you
Cookie
absolutely
bet.
want to make sure to tune in tomorrow to see who was right. Markus says we'll pull back and finish negative today, or me finishing positive. Let's see. We will resolve this tomorrow. Hope that you enjoyed today's show. If you did, give us a like. Feel free to share the show. There's a share button here on the page, and we'd really appreciate if you share it. Let us know in the comments who won the dad joke contest today. And with that said, we'll see you again tomorrow.
Happy trading, everybody.